Abdul Assad breaking records in the ways that you don't want to. In fact, he is the first Democrat down by this much, as I said, in a century since 1994. This is extremely, extremely, extremely unusual.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's ding-a-ling off? You think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
Circumcision's different than castration.
How you gonna be a man running around and thing don't work when you're 20 years old? Y'all are making decisions, permanent decisions for children at such a young age, and it's wrong. A few weeks ago, Anthropic did something no AI company wanted to do. They pulled one of their own models off the internet, worldwide, overnight. The model was Claude Fable 5. Was it too powerful? 2.5 weeks later, the ban was lifted. Fable 5 came right back online, more capable than ever before. A model doesn't get banned and reinstated unless it actually matters. That's exactly the kind of power sitting inside Claude right now, waiting for someone to actually use it. That's exactly why I want you guys to join the Claude Mastery Sprint, a full deep dive into Claude, its real use cases, and 10 plus other AI tools this weekend at 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern. And they made it completely free for my audience. Just register through the link in the description. Over 10 million people around the world have already gone through this. If you're even a little serious about Claude, this isn't one to skip. In 2 days, you'll run deep research into Claude, build your own artifacts and a dashboard, put together full presentations, and set up the connectors that automate the boring stuff, even your job search. You'll get hands-on with Claude Code, build custom agents, generate AI visuals and videos, and walk out with an entire week running on autopilot. Sign up now, and you'll also unlock 3 bonuses: 50 secret Claude codes that turn it into a guide tier tool, a complete AI prompt library, and a personalized AI toolkit builder. And you're being mentored by actual leaders from Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and NVIDIA. 2 days can change the next 2 years of your life. Sign up before seats sell out. Link is in the description. Scan the QR code and join the WhatsApp community before it closes. Let's get to this fool, Abdul El Said. I think that's how you say his name. Now, I don't care because I don't live in Michigan. I hope y'all burn to the ground. But because you guys are making the decision, I'm not talking about the conservatives, I'm talking about the leftists. You're making the decision to elect people like this. This is what you're going to get out of this election. He was on Jesse Waters' show, and this was a nightmare on Elm Street. Wrote a clip.
And sex changes for minors. Do you support that?
Look, I remember having great conversations with my conservative friends about right-to-try legislation. The idea that the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. I just think the government shouldn't tell you what kind of health care you should have. And if you're a minor,
you want to try on kids?
Now, if you disagree with that, if you disagree that health care decisions need to be made by a doctor and their parents and a patient, then we think we agree to disagree. But you want to put government inside.
So Abdul, you're a doctor, right?
Selectively, I am.
So you think it's okay for a parent to slash his kid's ding-a-ling off? You think that's okay?
I mean, do you really want to have this conversation? Are you circumcised?
Yeah, but I mean, that's a
Jesse,
personal question.
Okay,
doctor.
So you probably should want to move on.
Circumcision's different than castration.
I think it's a problem. It's a problem that you think that you get to decide what happens between a parent, a doctor, and a patient. And I'm just saying that, yes, circumcision is surgery on a kid's ding-a-ling. So if you really want to bring that up, you can. I just think you guys are really selective about how you want to talk about these things.
Abdul, Michigan's not going for that. That is sick stuff.
You know how silly you got to be to say something like that? Because you go down a slippery slope, and this is kind of what happened to the WNBA. You go down a slippery slope trying to sound virtuous, but you don't really have virtue on the inside. A circumcision, one is biblical. 2 is done when you're young, and it's just cutting the skin from the penis. Y'all want to cut off the entire thing. Y'all want to give kids irreversible hormones that when they won't even be able to have children anymore. And then if it's unsuccessful and they want to move back, the wee don't work. How you going to be a man running around the thing don't work when you're 20 years old? Y'all are making decisions, permanent decisions for children at such a young age, and it's wrong. And I'm telling you, if people wanted to do other things outside of transgenderism and the LGBTQ movement, people will be upset about it. Let's get to Sharia law. Roll it.
You said getting rid of Sharia law was white supremacy. Let's roll the tape. Go.
I don't have to tell you that the same exact forces that drove native peoples from their land
Here they
2
go.
centuries ago, destroyed Black Wall Street a century ago, bombed a building decades ago, and tried to ban Sharia law not a decade ago, that those forces are alive and well today.
So getting rid of Sharia law.
Hold on. So go live in a Muslim country then. Why are you in a white country then? If white people are so bad and they're just so devastating to your cause, go live in all these Muslim nations. I don't know, how many of it, 60, 90 Muslim nations? You got many to pick from. You can Sharia law yourself to the end of time. But yet you want to live in the freedom that is provided to you in a Christian, white, conservative-based country, but you complain about it every day. Roll the clip.
White supremacy. Can you explain that one?
Do you know what canon law is? Jesse, I assume you're Christian, right?
Yeah, tell me.
All right, so canon law is the name for Christian law. I don't begrudge you your right to practice your faith as you choose. I don't know why the idea that I could practice my faith as I choose is a problem. Nobody is trying to push Sharia law on anyone else, just like I hope nobody is trying to push canon law on anybody else, because we live in an America where you should have the freedom of your religion. So the idea that you have somebody like Tommy Tuberville, right, who barely was good at coaching football, is out here trying to ban Sharia law when there's less than 1% of the Muslim community in America, as if somehow Muslims are out here trying to push Sharia law. That seems to me to be deliberately targeting the Muslim community because they're different. And I'm just saying that, like, I have no issue with people practicing their faith. In fact, I would never want somebody to push their faith on me, and I would never want to push my faith on somebody else.
Time out. Here's the problem. When you are pushing your faith is antithetical to our faith. We are a Christian nation. We were founded on Christian principles. We weren't founded on Islam. And if you really practice Islam to its fullest extent, that means that we are the infidel. That means that we should be killed. Let you go. Can you proselytize in the West Bank, in Gaza, in Iran? Can you proselytize? That means, can you witness? Can you share the gospel of Jesus Christ in these countries? No, because it's antithetical to your faith position. So when you, and Christianity don't have any basis to hate others based on their religion. Christianity is not written in their book that they hate other people. It's not written in their book that they can't coexist. It's written in your book that you can't coexist. That's why these Muslim nations, majority Muslim nations, don't have Christians in it. Or they used to be Christian, now they're Muslim. Why? Because it's called conquest. All right, roll the clip.
Good, because no one wants you to get rid of your religion.
And so the idea,
no one wants that.
So, but when people preemptively go out there and start preemptively passing laws to ban something that's not happening, what you're trying to do is target a very small community because they're different. And this operates. I mean, look, I'm just going to say, there's statistical evidence that the president and the vice president
Michigan's
like to target
scary.
Simply as a function of my faith. You know what the issue is in Michigan?
What?
The issue that people are worried about is not that somehow somebody's going to come and push Sharia law on them. The issue in Michigan is people are worried about how they're going to afford their gas. The issue in Michigan is how am I going to see a doctor?
Yeah, that's a bait and switch. We worry about gas, Sharia law. This. Now we in control. And now we're in control. Now your women can't wear this and can't wear that. Can you tell me why in the Middle East they got stuff wrapped all on their heads? Female mutilation, genital mutilation. Why do those things exist? That's in the Quran. Or is it not? Okay, that's what I thought. All right, let's move on to reparations. What he said about reparations, wrote a clip.
Reparations. Do you support that?
I think we need to have an honest conversation about the incredible debt that was put upon black folks as a function of slavery that we have yet to pay. And I just think that's fair. Like if people are enslaved and forced into servitude, and then we don't actually have a conversation about all that was owed, that our own country agreed was owed, I just think that it's past time to have that conversation. That shouldn't be a crazy thing.
Time out. And the funny thing is that Democrats are the one that did not fulfill on the promises that a Republican implemented for 40 acres and a mule. It was a Democrat who did not fulfill on that promise. So I don't want to hear nobody talk about Democrat, Republican if you're not going to address the Democrat position of failing the black community from start to finish. From the foundation of the Democrat Party to today, they failed. How are you going to give reparations? And how far back does reparations go? To be honest, black people, and I'm black, how about we go to Africa and get our reparations from them? They the ones captured us and sold us to people all over the world. South America, United States of America, Britain, in the Caribbeans, you name it. They the ones sold it. How about we go to Africa and take back reparations and our resources that was deprived from us by other black people? Oh, y'all don't want to talk about that. Yeah, it's like saying natives need reparations for other natives. Because last time I checked, the Pasquayaki in Arizona, the Aztecs and all them, they didn't scalp and killed to conquer and get to the exemplification that we now know them to be today. How did they get there? Everybody owe everybody reparations. Shut your sorry self up. I tell you what, black people owe black people reparations for all this killing that's been going on in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. How about we talk about that? All that drug dealing, selling dope to your own brothers and sisters, leading cause of death for black people in America for the last 100+ years have been at the hands of other black people. How about black people pay black people reparations? Oh, we don't want to talk about that. It's too late to pay reparations. And you could say, I don't mind a person trying to challenge the idea of giving reparations, but then how are you going to implement it? It's just talk if you don't have an implementation tool. Roll the clip.
I understand that, like, for folks who really want to inflame culture war, I just think it's important for us to think about how do we make sure that communities like the city of Detroit that have been segregated so that you have a disproportionate number of people as a function of redlining who are forced into certain communities, how do we make sure that their schools are made whole? I'll just tell you this, in the city of Detroit now.
We'll move on. Redlining, I got to move on because we got other stuff. But the redlining, quit lying about redlining. Majority of the people who were affected by redlining were white by sheer number. Why we don't talk about the white people that were affected by redlining? Because you stupid. All right, next clip.
I respect the fact that you came on. I don't think you've really looked into some of the policies you're pushing. You seem a little naive, Abdul. I give you credit for facing the music, but some of the stuff's just straight up wacky. You know? I don't know if that's going to fly in Michigan, but we're going to find out.
You know what's wacky?
We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. And you know what's wacky?
Yeah.
You know what's wacky, though?
Yeah.
Can I just tell you? You know you didn't ask me about?
What?
We got a president of the United States who cares more about the drapes in a ballroom that shouldn't be built than he cares about the war he just got us into, or that he cares about the affordability crisis. That seems to me to be a little bit wacky. So if we want to have a serious conversation about what Michiganders are feeling, I'd love to come back on and talk about getting money out of politics, put money in your pocket, passing Medicare for all.
Okay, we'll do it again.
I'm telling you, none of that is wacky, and that's what Michiganders want.
We'll do it again,
I look forward to it,
Abdul.
Jesse. It was a good conversation.
All right, thank you so much. Good luck in Michigan.
See, at least I don't dodge you.
No. Yeah.
Thank you.
Like 25%.